Today we're going to be going over 5 bikes you should buy and 5 bikes you shouldn't buy in GTA Online. I hope you enjoyed the video, and with that said, let's jump into it. Starting off with a bike you should buy, the Hakucho Drag, which you could purchase for $976,000 on Legendary Motorsports, and you can also upgrade this thing to the HSW version. It'll end up costing you $1.45 million. Normally this bike can hit speeds of 126 miles per hour, but with HSW improvements it can hit speeds of 157 miles per hour, which is pretty insanely fast. Now, the reason why I feel like this bike is a must-have is in time trials. It is literally the best bike to use for it. If you purchase this and you do time trials, you will literally make money off of owning this bike. Every time I do a time trial with it, almost every single time I complete it right away with time to spare because of how fast this thing is. Trust me, if you don't own this, you should definitely consider buying it, and if you're on PS5 or Xbox Series X, upgrade that shit to the HSW version. Next up, a bike you might not want to purchase, and that's going to be the Shinobi. It's new to GTA Online, and it'll cost you $2.48 million, and it can hit a top speed of 125 miles per hour. I'm not going to lie, it's actually a pretty awesome bike, and it has some really cool customizations. You could pretty much make the entire body completely carbon fiber. At the end of the day, though, the reason you shouldn't purchase it is because it's $2.48 million. You can get many other motorcycles in this game that can easily compete with the Shinobi in terms of performance, but for $2.48 million, you would expect it to be top tier, some sort of god level motorcycle. It is crazy expensive, and I don't think it's worth the money. Maybe if the price was like $1 million cheaper, then it would be a good bike to buy. But in my opinion, because of that price tag, it really isn't worth it. Next up, a bike you should buy, the Western Reaver, which you could purchase for $1.9 million. It can hit a top speed of roughly 160 miles per hour, but that's not driving normally. That's doing wheelies. You could pretty much pull a wheelie whenever you want while you're on this bike, and it handles really well. So when you take it into a race and you pull a wheelie, and then the front wheel slams back into the ground, with this bike specifically, you actually get a huge speed boost whenever that happens, and you can reach really, really high speeds. Like I said, it's super fast, handles really well, and for $1.9 million, even though that's still a bit up there, I have to say it's pretty great. Try it out in a bike race and you will see. If you go into a straightaway, there's going to be so many other people trying to pass you, and even if they're split streaming you, they may not be able to get past you at the end of the day. That is how fast this bike is, and if you wheelie with it while split streaming them, my god, you are going to fly so far away from them, they won't even be able to split stream you back. This is truly a great bike, and I would highly recommend purchasing it. Another bike you may not want to buy is the Electro. You could purchase it for just under $1 million, but if you unlock the trade price, you can get it for $750,000. It hits a top speed of 109 miles per hour, and of course, you guys know this bike from the Pacific Standard Job Heist. Its special feature is the Curse Boost, and that's pretty much it. It's honestly not the best bike in the world, and if it didn't have that boost, it would probably be priced at around $70,000, or maybe a little lower than that, I'm not gonna lie. So you're paying all of that money just for that little boost, and the boost really isn't the best thing in the world. Like I said, the top speed of this bike is only 109 miles per hour, so when you do end up using that boost, you only get up to about 130 miles per hour. So if you're drag racing somebody in free mode, obviously they're going to get a huge head start on you depending on what bike they're using, and then you're going to use that boost, maybe catch up with them, but it's just downhill from there for you because you're going to start slowing down, and they're going to be coasting at a speed that the Electro just can't hit without its boost. At the end of the day, I just wouldn't really recommend purchasing it. Next up, we have the Oppressor Mark II, which you could purchase for $3.8 million, but if you unlock the trade price for it, you can get it for $2.9 million, $1 million off. And it also hits a top speed of roughly around 127 miles per hour, but you can reach a much higher top speed using the boost in certain ways. I'll link a video on how to do that down below in the description, but you guys already know why this vehicle is so amazing. It's super OP. It gets from point A to point B super quick. It's great for taking out enemies or people who are trying to kill you, and honestly, I use it almost every single time I'm doing anything in GTA Online just because of ease of access and how quickly I can get on and off of it and do what I gotta do. It's honestly an amazing vehicle, and I would highly recommend purchasing it. I say it all the time, and I'm still saying it to this day. Next, we got another vehicle I wouldn't recommend purchasing. That is going to be the LCC Sanctus. You can get it for $1.99 million, and it only hits a top speed of 112 miles per hour. This thing is honestly just a huge ripoff. I'm not going to lie though, it is a really, really nice looking bike, and it also shoots custom flames that no other vehicle in GTA Online shoots. It honestly just looks really, really cool. But like I said, It is way too damn expensive. Why would anybody purchase this thing for $1.9 million? Literally because it has a skull on it, and it looks a little creepy, and it shoots flames out of its exhaust pipe a different way than many other bikes or any other bike does. And one thing some of you guys may not know about is the fact that there's another bike in GTA Online that is way, way cheaper that this bike was based off of. So they pretty much just marked the price up super, super high on something that was already in GTA Online. They just tossed a skeleton head onto it, and there you go. This just shows how much a ripoff that bike actually is. Every single bike to the left of it right here all total out to cost less than the Sanctus itself, even if you fully max them all out, I believe. Like, that's how expensive it is. The most expensive bike here is worth $116,000 called the Avaris. The Sanctus was based off of the Avaris, and the Avaris is one of my favorite bikes to drive in GTA Online because I like the styling of it. But if you actually look closely at everything between the two bikes, obviously they changed a few little pieces of the body on the Sanctus, and then they also made it $1.95 million, which is just crazy. Like I said, the Avaris costs $116,000 and can reach a top speed of 107 miles per hour. Of course, you're not buying these types of bikes for speed. You're driving them for their looks and how you look driving them, I guess. They're really beautiful motorcycles. But this bike, honestly, is pretty damn amazing. Like I said, it's one of my favorite ones to drive around. If you paint it the right color, throw some nice chrome rims on there, it is a beautiful vehicle and definitely a much better buy than its counterpart, which is the exact same thing, but pretty much with a couple minor upgrades and stuff, the Sanctus. I'd highly recommend purchasing this, and I would highly recommend you don't purchase the Sanctus. Of course, there's a bunch of other motorcycles you probably shouldn't buy, but I'm going to go over a couple more that you should, like the Badi 801 or the Hakucho. If you're on a budget, these are two amazing motorcycles to purchase. Starting off with the Hakucho, which you could purchase for just $82,000, and it hits a top speed of 134 miles per hour. One of the reasons why I love this bike is because it's super fun to do tricks on. You could pull a wheelie very easily, even at high speeds on this thing, and then just pop off a curb or a little ramp, and then just fly into the sky, do a bunch of backflips and cool tricks and shit. It's honestly just really, really fun to drive around, and it is also really great in races. It may not be as good as something like the Reaver or the Shitaro, but it is still an amazing bike. And then, of course, there's the Badi 801, which you could purchase for only $15,000 and can hit a top speed of 135 miles per hour, 1 mile per hour faster than the Hakucho. This bike is also amazing, and I believe you could find it driving around on the street. Not 100% sure about that, but it honestly still looks really nice. It's like the lower end version of the Shinobi, but at the same time, I feel like this bike is actually better than the Shinobi in terms of performance. In terms of looks, yeah, the Shinobi is definitely nicer, but this thing will absolutely demolish in races, and once again, like the Hakucho, it is super, super fun to do really cool tricks with it. You pull a wheelie, fly off of a curb or fly off of a fence, do whatever you want. It's honestly a ton of fun, and it's dirt cheap. 15 grand is literally nothing in GTA Online, so I definitely recommend grabbing this thing. And finally, we have the Shitaro, which you could purchase for $2.2 million, and it can hit a top speed of 123 miles per hour. Another great bike to use in races, plus it honestly looks pretty cool. There really isn't any modifications or anything like that for it, but it is a great bike to use in races. I still use this thing in races all the time, handles really, really well, and it just looks really cool driving around, especially if you have the Tron fits to go with it, and depending on what color you put on, you can really make this bike glow. It's pretty damn awesome, and I already know a lot of you guys already purchased it and drive it around all the time and absolutely demolish with it in races. But I would highly recommend testing out a couple of the other bikes that I've mentioned in this video. Trust me, you're going to be blown away if you've never driven them before. Just before we end things off for today, this video is sponsored by Grand Roleplay, one of the best RP servers in the world. Have you ever wanted to play GTA 5 as a police officer, or as a doctor, or as a gang member, or drive hundreds of different real cars? If so, check out Grand RP, one of the best roleplay servers in the world. If you click the link down below in the description, when you join, you get $25,000 in-game completely free. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap the video up for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you went on to enjoy it, and with that said, I will catch you guys in the next one.